Hello mathematicians, this is Mrs. Petrova with another homework video. Before we continue, I would like to go over the expectations. Make sure you set up your notebook or note paper. Write title and date. Read the directions yourself. I do read out loud, but you could read it yourself. You could always pause the video and take notes. Please do not just skip mindlessly. And last but not least, think, don't just copy what you see. For each of the following multiplication problems, first estimate the product, then check your estimation by multiplying. So there are 3 problems. I would only do one of them, but let's go back to the directions. According to the directions, we are to estimate. So it does say clearly first estimate, then check your estimation by multiplying. So together I am going to do example A at this video. The way you've been doing your notes, go ahead and continue the way your teacher wants it. So right now 1/2 times 6/5. Notice I'm using times as a little times x, but you could also use the dot the way the textbook did it, so the way you prefer. Now, if I wanted to estimate, let's take a look at my first number. So my first number looks like 1/2, right? And that's what I'm thinking. And I'm multiplying, this was multiplication, and then 6/5 does mean more than 1 whole. I know that 5/5 is equal to 1. Therefore, 6/5 is more than 1. So it's almost like my problem, if I want to estimate, I'm multiplying 1/2 times 1, or, well, a little bit. So I'm going to write that my answer will be close to 1/2. Close to 1/2. Definitely a little bit more. I agree with that. But remember, first part was estimate. Now let's continue with actually the second part, which is multiplying. It does say check your estimation after we multiply. So 1/2 is the first problem, the first fraction, times 6/5. Now when we were learning about that, we started with visuals and we area model. So we learned that the top number multiplies with the top number. So 1 times 6 gives us 6. And then the denominator, or the bottom numbers, multiply with the bottom numbers. There was no need of common denominator of any kind. So I'm going to record 2 times 5, that gives me 10. Now looking at my fraction answer, it is 6/10, so that is close to 1/2. So I'm definitely checking my work as I'm writing it. Now another way we could write 6/10 is as a decimal, but we could also reduce it. So I'm noticing both numbers are even. So multiplying 3 times 2 will give me 6, and 5 times 2 will give me 10. And I could reduce by dividing by 2, or that's called the giant one we talked about. So my final answer as reduced fraction is 3/5. Now go ahead and continue with example B and C on your own. I forgot to write in my notebook example A. Right now I would write 7-11 example B, and I would start. Thank you for watching.